We're rounding up the Learn series. I really do hope you've learned one or two things within this 8 episode run because it was so nice to talk about the things I've learned, things that I am still learning, what I agreed with while I was learning, and what I didn't agree with as I was learning various things. It has been 8 wonderful weeks of talking about finance and communication and friendships, and I really do hope you learned something. But in case you missed it, here is a rerun of some very special parts of the Learn series. And before we begin this episode, I would love if you follow the talk on whatever platform you're watching on. This helps us to keep the talk free and it helps new episodes to land right here on your home screen every Tuesday morning, ready for you to get into, resonate with, or, argue with. So the series started with finance, and on finance, I talked about things that I had to learn to make personal finance better for me. I also moved on to savings, investments, how to start, how to continue. So in case you missed it, here is a clip on what you should do before you buy a stock. I had to learn how to deep dive into every company's financial report before buying a stock. The biggest investment advice you will see out there is do your own research. It is the very first piece of advice every finance content creator gives. And if they are giving you that advice, beware, be honestly aware of that person. Do your own research. It is the biggest advice out there. And it is the most important advice out there. For instance, I bought First Bank. I did my research on First Bank before I bought it. If I had just gone off the word of someone and bought First Bank and it crashed, and when I say crashed, I mean it went from perhaps 30 to 0, I could have wept. And as Warren Buffett says, if you're not willing to own it for 10 years, don't bother owning it for 10 minutes. You need to have that heart of steel to honestly hold a stock for more than a month or more than 3 months when you see that it is not doing as well as you would want it to. So do your research. Deep dive into companies. I learned very hard how to deep dive into companies. What I would do back then whenever I wanted to find out more about a stock or a company that owns a stock on the market was to copy their name from the market or memorize it, go into Google, type it out, this company, press search, open their page or their website, look at all the tabs they have there from home to about us, resources, careers, whatever it may be. I used to go to about us. On our about us, for most foreign companies, they have financial reports right there written in a tab in their display page on their or in their homepage on their website. In Nigeria, you have to dig a little deeper to find the financial report, but most companies had it there. So I would click the financial report, and then very lovely companies had their stock market, their finance page, which was a blessing because I didn't really know anything about it. So I would just sit down there, look at the graph, had no clue what I was looking at, the reds, the greens, the blue, whatever color it was. I would just look at it for like 2 minutes and just watch the lines go up and down and up and down. But what I would do was look at it in progression. So I would look at today's chart readings, a week from today, a month, 3 months, a year, 5 years. Some companies had up to 10 years. So I would look at that too. The point of that was just to see the progression. So I knew green was good, red was bad, not necessarily bad, but green was when the stock was rising, red was when it was falling. I still don't know what blue and yellow is, but we'll find out in the nearest future. And I would look at how much greens it had or how much reds it has. When did it peak? When did it drop? I had no idea what the numbers meant, but I would just look at the graph and say, okay. Then another thing I would do was download the financial reports for the previous quarter in the company. So perhaps the previous quarter, this is May. So the previous quarter would have been January, February, March, which is Q1 in most companies. So I'll download the financial reports from Q1. And after downloading it, I would open it on my desktop and just scroll through. I had no idea what I was looking at all. I would just scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll. And I would get to a point where it say the predictions for next quarter is this. This quarter, the prediction was this. This is how much we made. If they made above expectations, they will write it there. If they made below expectations, they'll write it there. So this quarter, the expectations were this, and this is what we got. The expectations for next quarter is this, and the report will be out on this date. And I would say, well, that's good enough for me. I close the page and I drop it. After which, I will go pick an investment banking or an investment firm's report on that same company, or I will type, for example, First Bank PLC, the Motley Fool. Click it. It will open and give me a report on First Bank PLC from someone in the Motley Fool. I like the Motley Fool. They're quite good investment bankers, to be very honest. I like their reports. It makes sense to me a lot. So I'll pick it, I'll read through it. And the good thing about investment banking firms is they tend to give you a bit more about a company or their stock price. And they'll say, oh, we fell this time because of this, or that time because of that. And then I'll read it. And I will just sit and look at the stock and tell the stock, so I'm going to buy you. And I don't know if you're going to work out, but I'm going to put my trust in myself and I'm going to buy you. You look good from all that I've seen. The charts are green, the reports are nice, the predictions are looking good, and I would buy it. It was so much fun to get into the world of investment, stock buying, stock sharing, to understand the economics all around it. It was a very, very interesting time in my life, and I'm really glad. I am still learning till today, but that was one of the most important things that I learned when I first started buying stocks. Do your own research. It is the greatest piece of advice you ever receive from a finance creator. And I'm so glad that I got that advice very early on when I went into researching about stocks and the stock market. Now, not everything about buying stocks was nice and rosy. There were some complications and some things that I had to unlearn in the process. And in case you missed it, here's a little clip, or one of the things I had to unlearn as I was navigating the stock market. And it was a very big mistake that I used to make, was not selling when I needed to. Like I said earlier, I bought at 47 when it was 50. If I saw by the third day was down to a good 42, I should have sold it off. But I would keep believing it will climb back to 50 and then it falls back down to 30. If I had sold it at 42 and bought it at 30, I would have gained more than letting it fall completely to 30 and then climbing back to 50. A lot of finance creators say if you buy and it's going down, when it starts climbing up, you should buy again with a different amount of income from the initial that you put in, so it can balance up your profits and your losses. And it is very true. I've tried it out. The theory works. But if you're in a situation where you do not have money to buy in again to make up your profits and loss, I would say sell. If this is not financial advice, mind you, do your research. I'm not a finance expert. I simply have done trials and errors, and this is my results. I would say sell and then buy it again when it is lower and the stock seems to be climbing. It will save you a lot more losses. Are there charging fees? Of course there are. But when you think about the difference between losing 1 naira and losing 5 naira, I don't think I have to say a lot more on that topic. One of the major things about communication is that we struggle with various aspects of it, and a lot of us don't realize that we actually do have these struggles within communications that we have with other people. Another very important thing I learned when it came to communicating and how to be a good communicator was how to ask. The word ask is very, very important when you want to communicate with someone, because when you don't know something, assumptions tend to mislead you. You want to present your best foot forward and you do not know how to do that. Ask your question. Ask a question. So you said that meteors are rocks. Why do you think they're rocks? Ask your question. You don't know anything about space. I don't know anything about space. I really don't. Why did I choose meteors as my question? I don't know. You want to ask, okay? That's my major point here. You want to ask. Asking goes a very long way. People would rather you ask than for you assume what they're saying, or for you to pretend like you understand, because when they find out that you actually don't understand, it's more hurtful, because it feels you're just pretending or giving them a pity conversation for the sake of it. You want to be a good communicator, ask. If you don't feel comfortable asking the person that you're actively talking to at that time, you could always go back and research, or you could find someone that you're comfortable talking to and ask them if they have any idea on so topic. It is a good thing. Asking goes a very long way. And when you ask, I assure you, you will find the answers that you're looking for. Ask and you shall receive. It's in the Word of God. So ask your questions. Ask people what you want them to tell you. It's not a bad thing to ask questions when you're communicating. Nobody expects you to be a know-it-all. Nobody does. So ask your questions. Ask your question. So here is a clip of one of my major communication struggles, and you may just help you identify if this is also a struggle you are coming across with or you are faced with, and how actually it presents itself within conversations. One of the many things that I struggle with personally is getting my point across to the other party. And you may wonder, I do this. Yes, I do this. I still struggle in real life. This is real life, by the way, but I still struggle outside this space. It is a struggle for me, mainly because I don't want to cut them off. I don't want to be rude and keep interjecting when someone else is talking, in as much as I may not agree with their point. I don't want to seem rude, and they keep on going and going and going, and I'm trying to just be a very nice listener and listen. Interjectories are easier when you're talking with your friends or people that are close to you, because you have a rapport, you have a strong foundation. But when you're talking to a stranger, when you're communicating with a stranger, it's quite difficult to like interject when you're saying something, regardless of how important or unimportant it may be. And this is something that I struggle with when I'm communicating with other people. Do I want to get better at it? Yes. Will I interrupt anybody's conversations? No. So that is a work in progress. I am very big on friendships, and I believe that friends are the most important people in our lives after family. And there is a certain level where your friends actually become your family. So here is a clip on friendships and the mutual respect that you have to give your friend, as well as that which they give you, which makes friendships a whole lot better and wonderful to be a part of. A very big one when it comes to being better at relationships is mutual respect. Every relationship is based on a level of respect. You respect your parents, you respect people older than you respect people with knowledge or people with certain value sets. You also have to respect your friends. You have to give them the respect they deserve. If they say no to something, I need you to take their no with grace and say, okay, you said no. I need you to give that mutual respect, the respect that you would expect from a stranger. I need you to give the same level of respect to your friend. It is an honest game changer when it comes to friendships. A lot of friendships today are broken down by the fact of lack of respect or loss of respect. And it's easy to say, I thought he was like this, but he isn't like that, and I don't think I respect him anymore. Which is why I emphasize on acting differences. You have to accept people's differences if you want to truly become friends with them. And then mutual respect plays a very big role in just making the whole thing bond together. You can be friends with someone that you don't respect to a certain degree. You cannot. You cannot have a relationship with someone that you don't respect. You would simply think of them as clowns or comedians or the enemy, and really, it's not that deep at all. When your friend says no, I need you to take the no with grace. This is a very major point I'm emphasizing, and I've said it before, but I just want to say it again. When your friend says no, take their no with grace. It doesn't mean they hate you, it doesn't mean they dislike you. It just means it's a no for them. And the same way you would want a friend to accept your no when you give it to them, is the same way you have to accept theirs. So mutual respect. I respect you, you respect me. In my group of friends, we have a certain level of respect. It's something that I think of randomly. I have respect for all of them. I have respect for where they are in their jobs, how they're thriving in life. I have respect for who they are as people, regardless of whatever value system they've added onto them as people themselves. I have a very big respect level. Well, I have a lot of respect for them, and in the same way, they have a good lot of respect for me. I personally believe that if your friend doesn't respect you, you will know. You will know in the way they treat you, in the way they discuss with you. No is a very big word. It's a statement, it's a word, it's a complete sentence. So, mutual respect, very important. You have to give the people the respect they deserve. I'm not saying bow down to them or curtsy to them, but the same level of respect you'd expect from a stranger meeting you the first time, the same way you want your news to be understood and heard as complete sentences. I need you to give that same level of respect to your friends. It's a done deal. We all have struggles within friendships, and it is something that cannot be avoided, to be very, very honest. But here is one of the major friendship struggles that you may have come across. I have definitely come across it, and I really do hope that this episode makes you know that you are not alone in your struggles, and it happens literally everywhere. The very first one, and it is a staple for a lot of us, is talking behind your back when we are literally right in front of you. Why are you talking behind our backs when we are literally right in front of you? If you're that friend that talks behind your friend's back when they're literally right next to you, stop it. Stop that lifestyle. It's not good. It's not nice. When I was in secondary school, that is high school for a lot of people, I had friends that spoke behind my back, and it wasn't nice because that saying, a problem shared is a problem half solved. My problems never got half solved when I told my friends. It became half increased because too many people knew about them. And I just didn't feel comfortable with that. And rather than these people coming to meet me to ask, how can I help? It was more of a go to the next person, what she's passing through. So do not be that friend that talks behind your friends' backs. And if you're that friend that your friends are talking behind your back, I have to say that they're not your friends, because real friends don't talk behind other people's backs. It's wrong. It's sad. It's emotionally damaging, I would say, because you expect them not necessarily to be your one and only, but you expect them to have your back. And then they're going around telling your business to other people who aren't doing anything to help the situation. It's not it. If my friends were talking about my business, I want to use the word behind my back. Yeah. If my friends were talking about my business behind my back, I know that it would be to find a solution. It is a struggle that you will definitely face in a couple of friendships. Your friend talking about your business or talking about you behind your back. I think the most painful thing about being spoken about without your knowledge is you don't even realize half the time that that is an issue for that friend. For example, if you said something that you didn't think was hurtful, but they thought was hurtful, rather than just saying that was hurtful and I didn't like it, they go around telling a lot of people, Asa said this and it was very hurtful, and I don't know if I can be friends with her anymore, but I don't know it was hurtful to you. So how can I be better for you? The issues that a lot of us pass through, and it is a struggle really, because you're trying to be the best version of yourself and for that person to feel comfortable in knowing you and respecting you and whatnot, and then when they have a problem with you, they just can't seem to open their mouth and say to your face. It's painful, I know, but you will be fine. I will say that if your friend talks behind your back, you have to sit down and evaluate if that person is really considered a friend or it's just someone that you know. I really hope you've enjoyed the 8 episode run of the Learn series. I have learned a lot as I was making this, and I really do hope that you have come across it, you have resonated with it, you have your complaints about it, and that's fine really. It's a whole learning curve, and we are still learning as we grow. I will see you next week with another episode right here on The Talk. And if you haven't gotten the time, or you haven't had the time to watch all 8 episodes, you can find the playlist on YouTube at The Tiny Talk. And I will see you next week. Bye bye.